lawns that are there, the granite walls, the gardens down below, the flagpole gardens, the wrought iron, the piers. Everything's been done to try to be architecturally consistent with the period. Because what was built here back in those days, go back, if you look at the stone, go back to colonial times. And that became the theme of our place. What are we? Who are we? What is our identity going to be? As we wrestled around with, being country, being colonial, what it comes out to be is that we want to be ourselves, independent. We don't want to become a box. We don't want to be like, the branded items which are popping up all over the country, and they provide very good lodging for people. But we're more than that. We basically represent a large community, both in Peekskill and in the greater Westchester area. Our commitment to this place is unequaled. When we met with Mary, pardon me, Mary, Your Honor, I'm sorry, I think so much of her, and she was angry with us because she was rightfully angry when we had originally had a major plan to build this big 92-room hotel, tear down what we have here today, including the hotel, provide basic services with no restaurant of any kind, and we failed. We failed because it was just too big a job for anyone to take on, and the economic times helped us fail nicely, so we didn't have to worry about a commitment. So when I met Mary for the first time, she didn't know who I was, and obviously I knew about her hurt, that we had hurt Peekskill by our inadvertent plans, and I told her what our dream was. It was much more of a realistic dream, and the dream was to take leverage and take advantage of what we had built here before and just bring out the best in it. And what we promised the city, especially if they would help us in many ways, was that we would do most of the job ourselves, and that we would finish this phase, and we'd have more coming. And here's what's coming next. God willing, the economy should turn out to be a little better. We might be able to build up the economy here. But the owners are committed to fixing up all the rooms. So one of the things we had done, which was this past year, we decided to take one of the rooms, probably one of the least attractive rooms in the entire place, and turn that into a showcase, a boutique room. And that would become the basis or the template for the more rooms to come. And we had, obviously, many opinions on how it should be done. But I got to tell you something. For those of you who are going to take the tour and walk up into the back and see room 39 overlooking the Hudson River, I hope you have the same reaction I did when I walked in. And that was, wow, this is possible. And that, in mind, gives us an idea now of how to recreate the next 53 rooms. Because if you like that, and I hope you do, and please give us your comments, we plan to propagate that room by room as money allows, to be able to be done over time. And therefore, the second phase will then have been accomplished. The third one has to do with some of the needs of the city, which we'll talk to the city about. And just to open up a window on that, there's no meeting rooms in all of Peekskill. And so, we just thought, hey, maybe one of the ideas we might have, or the next generation of people might have, is let's extend out. And let's go ahead and take that deck out there and make it into a much better place and open up the restaurant and maybe build a meeting room in here, for X number of people. So therefore we can actually become more of an attraction. It does not just have, a small little group over here. We have a manager's house, which is historical. It's back to the original times. It was one of the 3 original houses that the founders found here in 1955 that's still existing today. And up until 2 years ago, it was our manager's house. Well, we have plans for that. Not certain yet what those plans are, but they are to upgrade it and to make it into a showcase, either for living, extended living, a month at a time or so on, or for meeting rooms. But those are the things that the next generation is thinking about. And our board, I'm very happy, no matter what our age, 83, 76, down to, well, I'm not going to mention, I have other names there, in the 50s. And I'm watching the kids now. I'm watching my nephews and their nephews all coming aboard now, saying, hey, this is something. This is for the family. And I mean it. The founders are up there. I said I wouldn't do that. Basically, we're now at the stage where it's the jumping off point for the next stage going forward. And just before we go outside to cut the ribbon, I'd like to now call upon Bruce Prehal, our General Manager, who I owe a lot to. When I met Bruce 2.5 years ago, running a restaurant, I said, Bruce, do you know anything about running a hotel? He says, well, I was with Hilton for 20 years. He was hired the next day. I will add, Bruce brought along a dividend, which really is his long suit. and that's his wife. Barbara, what can you say about Barbara? Barbara also became our accountant, our bookkeeper. She took over all of our books. She did everything to make it a progressive. I can go from my home now and look at our books. We can look at all of our facilities. We know what's going on, all because of Barbara Prehal. So I just want to give a round of applause to Barbara as well.
Barbara. She's working in the back. She's working.
Barbara, where are you, Barbara? There's Barbara back here. At this point in time, I'd like to call upon Bruce Prehal to say a few remarks.
Thank you, Bert. First of all, I just want to say thank you to everyone, all the owners, for being here and supporting us and supporting me for this endeavor that we went through. I want to say thank you to our elected officials, Mary and the council people for coming, but I think it's important that we also have some, our other elected officials. Sandy Gallup is here. I want to make sure she's recognized. She's a state administrator, up in Albany. We also have John Testa, our county legislator. He also represents us at the county level. And somebody told me George Oros was here. He's in the lobby. Okay, George. George, obviously everybody knows, was our former county legislator, and he's also the chief of staff for Robert Stein. George, thank you for coming. And that's it. I just want to thank everybody else, all of our friends, our customers, our business leaders, and Rotarians, and everybody else. I thank you very much for coming. And I think I didn't forget any of our...
Yes, one more. The Executive Director of the Chamber of
Oh,
Commerce.
the Executive Director? All right, Paul's here. Dominic, I want to thank you for the signs and everything else, the banners. I appreciate that. He's the owner of Bertolini over here. Star Signs, we want to thank Star Signs. Well, there's probably some others, but thank you. Thank you all.
At this point, those of you who would like to come out, I'd like you all to come out, but I'm not going to tell you to. We're going outside for a ceremonial ribbon cutting with the mayor and with Brian to just take a moment, and then we're all going to come back in here. And you have one more treat. We have the city historian, John Curran, who's going to give you a very brief talk about the importance of the hotel, its site, and the role it played in the Revolutionary War with George Washington. So those of you who would like to come out, please join us. You can come out through the front, come through here. And we'll all be